My name is Doug Downs. My guest this week, Dianne Chase, up from North Carolina. How are you?
I'm doing fabulously well. How are you?
Have you been in Toronto before?
I have. It's a beautiful city.
It is.
It's really something. I'm hoping I can find some time to explore more than I have so far.
Okay. Been here a couple of times. So if you can do a walk by the waterfront at the very least.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone's saying, go to the water, go to the water.
It is. It's beautiful. And across the Center Island.
Yes.
At some point. Yeah.
Yes.
Dianne, you are the past International Chair for IABC. You're the IABC North Carolina Chair and the past Southern Region Chair.
Yes, I am.
And folks in the Southern Region, when they hear Southern Region, that go ding, ding, ding. They like that.
Best region ever.
I love the title of your new book, The 7 C's of the New Communications Compass. Walk me through what those 7 C's are, and then let's go through them one by one, figure them out.
Got your notepad ready. Collaboration, connection, compassion, cohesion, community, congruency, and calibration.
Okay, let's start with collaboration. Obviously, you're trying to say we need to interact more with one another or with our audiences, with leaders.
All of it. And, silos are anathema to communication. We have to collaborate across business units, across teams, across the organization, and really outwardly to our stakeholders. Our stakeholders are the reason we exist internally and externally as businesses. So I had a remit, Doug, for each of my C's, and the remit for collaboration was the outcome of building successful teams for greater results in an era of ever-increasing distractions and demands. And back to breaking silos and fragmented messages erode trust in this era of a lack of trust. And if you are not collaborating and working together and making sure, I call it a one voice policy when I'm doing my training and consulting, let's have a one voice policy so that we build trust. Because if people are hearing a slightly different message and a different tone from one leader to one employee to one manager, they're like, well, where's the truth?
Yeah, this is hard because we live in this multi-channel universe where there's video, there's written word, there's print, there's all kinds of digital ideas, there's infographics. We're doing a podcast, so there's audio.
Yes.
And you do design your messaging slightly differently for each channel to tailor.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is great title, but this is hard to do.
Right. Well, I think if you keep a touchstone, which is really the 7 C's of the new communication compass, I want to have this serve as a North Star. So if you're touching back to your values and you're developing your value purpose-centered messaging, that's going to be the infrastructure, if you will, to your communication. And then you nuance it to resonate with whatever stakeholder group you're talking to, but you're not changing the essence of the message or the essence of the communication. But you're using different language, which will connect to different stakeholder groups.
Okay, connection. I think you called it a remyth that you had.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have to look that word up by the True Confessions.
Okay. The word of the day, connection, the outcome of building a positive culture for greater engagement, loyalty, productivity, and retention. So this is about building relationships, not transactions. In this day and time with AI is going to do all the transactional piece. And as humans, it's our obligation, role, and responsibility to build relationships if we really want to have a sustainable organization and a sustainable business. We do business with humans. Humans don't do business with, inanimate unfeeling
person to person,
organizations. Yes,
100%. I
absolutely.
still phone customer support. I have a hard time using the
Yeah.
apps.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you feel, well, first of all, they don't care about you.
No. Right.
And so then, there's no, talk about trust. There's no trust there because there's no relationship there. So if you want to stand out and make sure that you are building a value proposition that others can't steal, so to speak, or mimic, be a human and set your personality into your work.
So that leads into the next C, which is compassion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is really critical now
Yeah.
because of the era of lack of trust and misinformation and disinformation and skepticism, and rightly so, because it's hard to know what to believe when you see videos allegedly of a CEO. The face is the CEO, the voice is the CEO, the words sound like the CEO. It's a robot, it's AI generated.
Yeah.
How do we know what to believe anymore? So compassion is the outcome of building a people, human-centered culture based on the key leadership skill of empathy. And compassion is so misunderstood, I believe. Compassion is action. It's empathy and action, but it's basically human-to-human connection and building those relationships. So compassion isn't about, having a pity party for someone. It's about understanding them and taking action to up-level them if they're going through a hard time, so to speak, or if they're coming to work with a whole different set of realities than we are. How do we work with them in a compassionate way? As we know, leadership, in my view, is helping people be the best version of themselves. So as a leader, we have to have compassion to connect with another human and help them be the best version of themselves.
That whole sense of caring. I had to call Air Canada for the flight out here. I live in Calgary. I was flying to Toronto for the conference. And I was traveling with batteries for the microphones that we're using. And I know firsthand experience, they will confiscate batteries under certain conditions if they're above a certain wattage. And I called Air Canada to find out, can I travel with these? Here's the wattage output. I was on, first of all, it took me an hour and a half to get through to a human. So that's,
you're already, right there.
Right. I'm already, okay, this is not
I'm cranky
great.
now.
But the person that I connected with pulled up the documentation for what Air Canada would accept, and then actually proceeded to research with me exactly what is the wattage of the batteries that I've got, what year, what model have you got. You're well under, you're absolutely fine. And emailed me a link so that if I got stopped by the Canadian,
you could prove, oh, wow.
I could say, no, here's what the batteries, and sure enough, I had no problem at the border. So my end feeling about Air Canada is, from that one person, that frontline person, is there was a lot of compassion there.
Yes, absolutely right. They weren't just trying to, shut you down and say, well, go to this website and figure
Move
it out.
on to the next call, who'd also been waiting an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And that takes such skill. And I see, I hate to generalize, but I see a real opportunity working with Gen Z and even Gen A in terms of helping them develop that sense of compassion in their communication.
Is it missing because they live a texting world?
Absolutely right. They're interacting and communicating, I use that term loosely, with an inanimate object. They don't have to listen to. They don't have to try and understand. They don't have to be ready to interact and look at someone else's point of view, which is what this person did, putting themselves in your shoes, right?
She sure did.
Concerned and trying to do the right thing ahead of time.
Okay, next C is cohesion.
Cohesion is the outcome of building greater alignment to increase results and reduce disconnections, which equal lost time and money and productivity and engagement and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if we feel we're part of something greater than ourselves, that cohesion piece is so powerful.
Yeah.
And that is what is going to attract and retain Gen Z, because there is a new sense of being, of prioritizing being involved with something greater than themselves.
Is that why folks in the Southern region, when they hear Southern, that's my region. That's it. I identify there.
Yeah, sold. Yes, there is a, a humble pride
Yeah.
in well, we find your people that you relate to, whether it's culturally, geographically, professionally, whatever it is, and we're elevating each other
Yeah.
through our cohesion and how we communicate and how we support each other.
Yeah. It's that place where everybody knows your name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how
It's
that,
kind of like a bar, but not. Yeah.
but without the alcohol, maybe.
Exactly.
Until
Well,
later.
sometimes.
Right. Okay. The next C is community.
Community is the outcome of creating a purpose-driven brand, which is vital for Gen Z, as we just mentioned,
Yeah.
and beyond, who want to work for, buy from, support, invest in companies who do well by doing good in the local community and the global marketplace. So leaning into understanding our stakeholders and their interdependencies. So what are the interdependencies that we have in our stakeholder groups, whether it's our clients, our vendors, our resources, our sponsors, and how do we fit in? How do we facilitate that sense of community as communication professionals? There's a lot of power there that we have with our communication expertise to build and nurture community.
There's such an opportunity to overlook something, a link in the chain that suddenly exposes the whole program.
Right. And you see it, I mean, even in supply chain, logistics, whatever it might be.
That was what was running through my mind.
Yes, the interdependencies.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, so I do a lot of crisis work as well, and there's a lot of interdependencies there, not just within that sort of bubble, if you will, but when someone else's issue, risk, crises impacts your industry, that kind of guilt by association or guilt by connection. So thinking about interdependencies that maybe we haven't even thought of before that could impact us personally and professionally and organizationally.
Okay, congruencies.
Congruency is the outcome of establishing a positive company reputation built on having leadership and internal stakeholders live their business values in every aspect of their roles and responsibilities. It's walking the company values talk. It is closing the say-do gap. So statements versus real policies and role modeling your values. Values are meaningless if they're in a beautiful poster in the lobby and everybody sees them.
They all kind of sound the same.
They sound the same. Exactly right. If you could take one logo and
Better planet, diversification, fair opportunity, peace and love.
Best customer service.
That's right.
I mean, and so how are you going to set out your unique value proposition with really drilling down into your values? But most importantly, how are you living and role modeling those values in your business place and in the community as well? Because we're all walking, talking, brand reputation people for our organizations. So especially leadership in their visibility, but I do a lot of strategic business storytelling, and I talk about role modeling a lot and how we can turn values into real personal stories that convey a business message.
Right.
So making sure that if you are a manager or a leader who's always preaching work-life balance, but you're sending emails to your employees at, 7 p.m. on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Not really role modeling that.
I had a 360, one of those anonymous 360 reports in my corporate days when I was managing staff, and I'll never forgotten the comment. Doug emails me on Sunday night, and it makes me feel like I have to respond. I was, whoa,
Wow.
it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Because I had adopted, I was so busy. I'd adopted this habit of Sunday evening prepping for Monday, and emails were my, okay, let's get ABC and X.
Set up.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was time delaying my emails to come Monday morning, which still got complaint.
Oh, really?
Because someone would come in and 6:30 in the morning.
They knew that you had said it last
The
night.
flood would start. So I don't know how to solve that, but
oh, wow.
But yeah.
But that's a teachable moment. So that's
Sure
a great
was.
story that you could use.
And taught me to put myself in my staff members' shoes, my direct report shoes, right? They felt they had to go on their email Sunday night and respond to their boss.
Right.
And that was a cold water.
Yeah, yeah. That's great, though. That's a great story.
Okay, collaboration.
Calibration.
Okay, that's making sure all the pieces are fitting together.
That was number one, but now we're
Collaboration was number one.
Yeah.
Collaboration's number 7. Yeah.
It's the outcome of using wise measurement, measuring what matters and setting out why it matters.
This is the measurement.
And
got it.
Right. And establishing how and why strategic communication is critical in the near and future term in new and important ways. So it's adjusting and involving communications to stay relevant and agile and in real time, so to speak. It's not, set it and forget it kind of measurement. It's like, how are we measuring sentiment, for instance?
Yes. Sentiment analysis. Yes.
And how are we making sure that whatever we're setting out as our KPIs or our net promoter scores or whatever it might be is really where we need to focus.
So important.
Yes.
So important. Because I'll ask companies, okay, why do we make podcasts in our company? Why do you want a podcast? What are you hoping to do?
Right.
And the measurement of the downloads or the listeners, that's actually not it. It's what do you want them to do?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And so in communication, it comes down to what do we want people to understand, feel, and do. And
sorry, it kind of that's a big statement right there, just to capture that. Think, feel equals do.
Right. Because the superhighway to the brain is through the heart. And by the heart, we mean the humanity. Are we connecting again emotionally? And when I say emotionally, I don't mean like boo-hoo and, or dark and stormy night or whatever. It just means humanly, because the neuroscience, if you want to ever geek out, is fascinating with strategic storytelling, how our brains start mirroring each other.
They do, actually.
It's incredible.
Yes, the mirror. So that's the synaptic connections physically start to resemble one another. That's through fMRI technology.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And it just really reinforces the fact that the way we communicate has to be as human beings.
And use stories.
Yes. Stories, absolutely.
To get to the 7 C, I mean, this is so well codified and put together.
Thank you.
What was your process to get to these 7 C's? Like, where did you start, and how did you get to this point?
Well, I started just with the idea and the motivation that we're in a whole different era with communication, and as communication professionals, we need a North Star to keep us focused, to keep us grounded, to help us remember what matters and how we can, as professionals, elevate the conversation, it sounds corny maybe, but one of my mantras is communication should be, can be, and must be a force for good in business and society. And this was meant to be a touchstone when all the things are swirling around and everybody's heads blowing up and we're like in an age of again, mistrust and misinformation and insecurity and skepticism, how do we go back and find a touchstone to go, okay, reset, regroup, and keep going?
I share that. There's this old adage that what separates us as humans from everything else is our ability to collaborate, which I don't disagree with. It's just collaboration, as you've listed, fits underneath something, and that's our ability to communicate.
Absolutely right. And there is a through line through every chapter, through every C. They're intertwined, they're integrated, they work together. But if you are struggling with cohesion, here's a chapter maybe could provide a compass. So the subtitle is Insights, Inspiration, and Strategies for Future Forward Success. So keeping our feet on the ground while we're keeping our eyes on the future.